All right, good morning, everybody. We are here on May 5th, 8:45 a.m. 2023 for Roxbury Board of Selectmen special meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 8:45. First order of business is annual town meeting. My apologies to the board. We should have voted on this at the last Board of Selectmen meeting on Tuesday, and therefore we have to have this meeting today. So I'd like to make a motion to schedule the annual town meeting on May 16th at 7 p.m. at the Roxbury Town Hall with the following items on the call to be voted on. To accept the annual report for 2021 and 22. To authorize the Board of Selectmen to determine and pay compensation and expenses of all agents and employees whose salaries are not set by a town meeting. To authorize the Board of Selectmen to apply for grants, to amend the Roxbury Code of Ordinance, Chapter 3, Building and Building Regulations, Article 4, waiting period for demolition permits, to approve the local capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2023 and 2024, to accept the town budget of $5,308,794 for fiscal year 2023-2024, and to elect 2 members to serve as Roxbury's representatives on the Regional School District Number 12 Board of Education for 4-year terms beginning July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2027. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
So the board of Ed, will that be, those names will come up at the?
Yes, they'll need nominations from that. And we did the same thing last year.
Right.
And we're going to follow the same process. If we have multiple, multiple people nominated, we'll go to a special vote.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, so we'll follow the same just to be consistent.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There will be a full warning to be run in the newspaper and posted on the town website today. And the proposed ordinance text will also be posted online today.
Great.
Business on item B, discussion of public comment. I'd ask that be put on the agenda. So.
Right, I asked that be put on the agenda because I feel that the Board of Selectmen's meetings cannot be disrupted. And we as a board need to do something about that. I have no problem with the public speaking, but I think when the public speaks, they need to speak facts. There's been a lot going on Facebook. I don't really follow Facebook, but the things on there are just not true. So let me set the thing straight, which I wish I did the other night instead of walking out. But that's who I am. And I don't apologize for that, but I apologize to both of you because I know you get a little, it gets tense. And I understand that and I respect that.
Thank you.
The budget isn't a 17% increase. I don't know where that number comes from. What is it, Pat? 3.5 when we
Give you the exact number.
send it to the Board of Finance?
3.74.
Okay, I don't know where 17 comes from. The budget was incomplete when we sent it to the Board of Finance because we didn't have the vote for the Board of Ed. This happens every year. It's no different. This isn't a new administration doing different things. We're following the same course that administrations have followed for decades. And that's a fact.
Correct.
Second, there seems to be something about special meetings, like we're doing something in secret. We have special meetings for the budget. We always have in the morning because we don't want to do it at the regular meeting because the regular meeting has too much on the agenda. We'd be there all night. Special meetings are a workshop for us to talk about the budget. Correct. It's not a public thing. The public could come and watch, of course. And the Board of Selectmen doesn't approve the budget. The Board of Selectmen approves the budget to go to the Board of Finance, and then it's totally in their hands. We have nothing to do with it after that. So we schedule special meetings in the morning, mostly because I work a full-time job and it's easier for me to come here early in the morning and then I could go to work. It's hard for me to meet a lot of nights because I have a lot of night meetings with work. I go to a lot of wetland meetings for my projects. So the town, I got so many calls and after that Monday night, and I thought they were going to be, Russ, you got to stop walking out of meetings, you know. The town doesn't want division. It wants good discussion, but it wants it in a way that's professional and respectful. And I don't know what's happened in this country where people feel that they could disrespect public servants. And I see it all over the place, not just here, but it's never been here except for a few minor exceptions. And I'm not going to tolerate it. I shouldn't have to get up and leave a meeting. I shouldn't be put in that position. I shouldn't have to log out of the Zoom calls because I get talked over and I can't say what I know. So this administration has done nothing different. It's done a lot of things better because we've learned from our past. And I thought you did an excellent job on this budget. And I welcome anybody in this town to come and look at this budget because we worked hard on it. We're investing in this town in this budget. Yes, some things went up. Capital improvement, we're investing. We're not going to let things fall apart. We're going to take care of it. And we have the right guy for the job because he's got the management skills to get it done. And what you've done so far is amazing. And people are happy with this board. And well, you know, you got the emails from people to all three of us saying, you know, you guys are professional, except for Russ now and then, which is okay. It's who I am. And I say what I think. And sometimes I say things I shouldn't, but it's okay. In the future, I'm going to try to stay away from that. I propose that we suspend communications with the public for a couple months until things get back to normal, until people understand they will not come to our meetings and disrupt them. Now, there's been disruptions in other towns like New Milford, and I've talked to New Milford how they dealt with it. And this is what we got to do. Now, you might say, well, we're cutting out the public from being able to speak to the Board of Selectmen. Barbara put communications on the public 15 years ago because she wanted to open it up. It's not something the board has to do. Legally, we don't need it there. In that 15 years, only one person had come to the board, Mo Clark, about the park. That's it. I mean, we have it on wetlands and nobody ever comes in. So I'm taking it off of wetlands. So we put it there. It's been on there for a long time and nobody really needs it. If you need to talk to your Board of Selectmen, you can email any one of us and we will bring it up in a meeting. But give us the facts. Don't say things like there's a 17% budget increase. And some of the things about how the grand list is going to come down someday, it's all smoke and mirrors. And I don't understand the purpose behind it. What are they trying to get at? I don't understand it. They're trying to divide us.
Yep.
They're trying, and it isn't that they don't come in with, you know, valid reasons. It's how they do it. It's how they speak. It's right off the bat, right after your throat. That's how I feel. I feel from the second they start talking, I'm being attacked. And I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to sit there and be disrespected. I've worked too hard for this town over these many years. I've been on this board 25 years. I've seen a lot. And the board, Barbara never put up with people. She called the cops in when people disrupted meetings. So that's my recommendation, is that we suspend communication from the public for a few months. Let this Facebook stuff, they can say what they want. Yep. That's Facebook. Do what you want. Say what you want. I don't care. I want to be able to come in and serve the people of this town without being harassed. And I have a right to that. And that's how I feel. So that's where I'm at.
Love it, Russ, and I'm going to thank you for years and years of service and all you do. And I, right there with you, we are a great board, and we're getting amazing things accomplished. And together, we're going to continue to do that. You are the elected official that people spoke, and that's why we are here.
Right.
I totally agree. And I have a long list of things I was going to say, but I think you've covered a whole bunch of them. I appreciate that. I do want to say a couple of things though. You know, we've always been really cognizant of optics, you know, and how important it is to, you know, just as you've referenced, you know, that people are expecting us to behave a certain way, et cetera. But that does not mean that we shouldn't stand up for what's right. And that's very different. So the optics of that is so important, and that this is being recorded, people can listen, and we're finding that people are coming to the meetings or coming to the recordings and really paying attention now to what we're saying. And that's important. I found out yesterday about a Facebook page that had some information on it. So I went to it and then, because I'm not on Facebook either, you know, I just do the, everything free or whatever, the buy nothing thing, you know, whatever. I don't talk on Facebook at all, but I did send a post because I thought it was important, and I'm going to read what I sent so that that's in the record. Good morning, everyone. I was told about this Facebook group yesterday, so I popped on to take a look. And I'm saying this because the public comment was mentioned in there. And so this is related to public comment, okay? For the record, I do not participate in discussions on any Facebook groups. My only reason for posting is to let you know that if you have any questions for the Board of Selectmen, you can call the First Selectman's office to receive contact information for any one of us on the board. We are happy to fill you in on policy and procedures. As a former educator, I always encourage people to go to the source for their information. That is not always possible, especially if the organization is too large. Thankfully, we are a small town and access is possible. Have a great day. So I just wanted you to know that I sent that.
Okay.
And whether it's posted or not, at least it's on the record that I did that, because I think it's important that people know they have something. The other thing that I just wanted to say that, I'm sorry. I agree. I think that we should pull public comment immediately. And I understand this is a punitive response. And even though we want to hear from the residents, that offering public comment at a meeting is a privilege, not a right. And it's important that we're able to stay on task in order to conduct necessary business for the town. I have felt the same way you have, Russ, that we are being bullied. The whole idea of the bell, and I just want to say that too, because of our prior meeting, the one in April, we had two people who, were told about the 2 minutes, right? And the 2 minutes is sort of it's loose, right? In the past, it's been like 2 minutes, I don't think it needs to be dictatorial and say that it's to the 120 seconds, but there's an essence to 2 minutes. And when people come in and expect to read a dissertation, I don't think that that is appropriate for public comment. So bullying, I feel, is juvenile, and juvenile behavior, I think, this is an appropriate response to that. I did, and you guys will laugh, I did a little research last night on what 2 minutes of reading would be. And so I happen to have an article on my computer, because I was doing research into road salt. So I pulled up road salt and I put my timer on and I started reading about road salt out loud in my guest room by myself. So I put the timer on and I read until it hit the 2 minute mark. And then I cut and paste, and I did 12-point font, double space on a piece of paper, and I read it again, and it came out, and I read fast because I figured I'd be somebody that would want to get a lot of information in. So a 2 minute, this is 2 minutes. And I was shocked because I thought it was going to be a couple of pages, but this is approximately 2 minutes read quickly.
Okay.
Okay. the whole idea
For the
of
record, a full page.
a full, sorry, this is, yes, people who can't see this, but this is a one sheet, one side, double spaced 12 point. So the idea of the the bell came as a result of the April meeting, okay, when people were not paying attention and just reading over when you said that their time was up. The Board of Finance took the bell and had it for their public hearing on the budget. They never had to use it, but they were ready because they saw what happened at our meeting. And so, and again, I'm saying this for public record, because the people at the public hearing stayed within the time and it was loose enough and it wasn't a grandstanding. And so as a result, we gave it a shot at this last meeting. I don't like it. I don't like using the bell, but we tried it.
Mhm.
And it made no difference. So I think it's about that lack of respect for the process that we have to address. So that's really what I wanted to say.
Would you agree with both of them? Should we vote on it?
So I'll make a motion to suspend communication from the public from the agenda temporarily for the next couple of months, and we could revisit it in the future.
I second.
I'll say any discussion, but all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll do that. All right, now,
Okay, our class trip today.
it is, we
It's
are
a
going to
class
take a
trip.
tour of, private tour to
Yeah, as you know, many years ago, we sued Waterbury because they were not putting, they were putting 1 million gallons a day into the river. The river needs at least 12. It was killing the river.
I remember this. Yeah.
So I met Edwin Matthews, who's a wonderful man. You'll meet him today if you don't know him. But he's the one who started and raised the money for the lawsuit, which is like $2 million. And he put me as his attack dog to attack the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection because they weren't doing anything. And they weren't helping us, and it was political because Roland was governor and Waterbury and all that. So we won. We won a victory. They have to put so much water in the river depending on the time of year. Like right now, it's 8.9 million gallons because it's the fall. So it's all about the reservoir, and they have 5 reservoirs. The Chapag reservoirs, which you'll see today, are the 2 biggest. And actually, the Cairns is the biggest. Okay, but in order to use the Cairns water, they have to pump it into this tunnel, and that costs a ton of money. So most of the water comes from the Chapag reservoirs. The Pitts reservoirs and the Wigwam, they use them only in emergencies, again, because they have to pump. It's a weird system. So then I kind of got out of it, but Edwin has gotten older and he's been watching Waterbury. You know, are they putting the water in? Are they complying? And then he called me about 2 years ago and asked me if I would take over. So just watch Waterbury, communicate with Waterbury. And John Snolliga helped me set up a system where we could go right online and see exactly
Oh, that's
what's
great.
coming out of the river.
Yeah.
And as soon as it falls below what the amount is in the thing, we get beeped. Me and John, we get emails.
That's great.
And then I call Rob Langler, who's the head of the Waterbury company, which you'll meet today. And he's been very responsive. Now, the person before Bob was totally didn't want to know nothing, did what he wanted, almost had to go back to court again. Bob comes from the MCD in Hartford. He ran a water company.
MCD?
The Metropolitan, it's the water company in Hartford.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Metropolitan Conservation, I forget.
Yeah, that's okay. No.
So,
all right.
but Rob has been great. He's responsive, he's open. They've made a lot of improvements. They put a new valve on the Cairns. They're using less water from the Chapag. All this is through just working together.
Yeah.
You know, how could we do this? But I noticed in the agreement that we're allowed once a year to go and inspect what the dam, everything they're doing. And nobody's ever done it in all these years. So I said, hey, let's do it. Called Rob. He said, great, bring whoever you want. And I said, well, I'm only going to bring who was part of the lawsuit, was Washington, Roxbury Land Trust, and the Chippewa River Association. And that's who's going to be here today. There'll probably be 12, 14 people.
Okay.
There's no decisions that need to be made. I don't know why it's on the agenda. We are going to be together, but
That's why this is literally just optics. We are meeting as, you know, we fulfill a quorum. So I think it's important for public record just to say that we are meeting today as a group for this business.
We're not, it's
Because it
not a
is
meeting.
town, no, it's town business. It's a town tour.
It's a town, it's a tour.
right.
Yes.
And the full Washington Board of Selectmen's coming.
Yep.
Great.
You know, Edwin Matthews, who started the whole thing, will be there, and a bunch of people I don't even know from the Chippewa River Association, which I joined 2 years ago to
Yep.
be able to coordinate. And that's what's gonna happen today.
I'm
Great.
looking forward to this.
All right.
I didn't bring my muck boots. I just have my sneakers. So is that good?
Me too. I don't think we're hiking. I
Okay,
think
all right, I
they're gonna
wasn't
fly a drone over all the different
Oh, all right.
reservoirs,
Okay,
Oh, great.
explain how they operate the system,
great.
what they've been doing for the river. A couple months ago, we saw a big drop in flow. He got a call. He's like, how the hell
remember
did
that.
you know? I said, I see it on my computer.
And there was
Turned out
repairs,
as
right?
the outlet was all plugged up with
Oh, wow.
crap.
Yeah.
And within a
What a
day,
great
he had it
system.
back up and running.
Awesome system.
Yeah,
So
Okay,
it's good.
fantastic.
all
And
right.
then he's learning more from me about why it's important for the river. And the next step is we're gonna invite him and his staff to come take a hike on the river.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
that's what we're doing today, all right?
All right,
Yeah,
great.
That's
All right.
fabulous.
So are we suspending the meeting at this point?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay, then we're
And-
suspending the meeting
What does that mean?
to go to a private tour because we're
Yeah.
not really adjourning it because we're going to the tour. So once we close out, when we're leaving, we're just going to adjourn the meeting.
Yep.
Because we're going to the private tour now.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
And
There
then,
you
yeah,
go.
and let me know when you adjourn the meeting.
Exactly.
Not
Okay.
a problem.
Getting better at this.
Good.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm stopping the recording.